The two fastest rising costs for the past 10 years in a row are healthcare and college. And if you stay healthy and fit, you could avoid hospital costs. But how can you avoid skyrocketing college costs? Joining us with tips on how to make college more affordable is college planning expert Paul Hemphill. Paul, this is great stuff we're going to talk about for anyone who's either a student or a parent. Now, let's talk first about the maximum out-of-pocket money that people are willing to pay for their child's college. I mean, obviously, no one wants to pay any out-of-pocket, but the reality is we probably have to pay some. So that's the first question people should ask themselves.
Right, and just as you would not walk onto a parking lot of a car dealership, not knowing in advance exactly what the maximum out-of-pocket you're going to be spending so that you could avoid the influences of a fast sales pitch, you want to come to that figure right away and sit in front of a computer and then Google words like college cost and then put the figure alongside it. So let's say it's $20,000. So college cost, $20,000, and then in a nanosecond, Google will spit back to you pages of resources that will show you what those colleges are, who those colleges are, so you can go to your student and say, look, these are the colleges that we can afford, okay? So do your research on these colleges, pick one, and we'll support you all the way. That manner of doing this is the simplest, easiest first step into knowing how you can afford to pay for college.
Great. So thank you to Google and thank you to those search engines,
exactly.
Right? Now, summer college courses, can those actually save money?
Yes. In fact, if you ask your college advisor in your freshman year of college, I've got a community college back at home, and I want to know what courses could I take at that community college where I'm going to get credit for here. And if your student's going off to a private school that's charging $3,500 for the course, the community college will charge $1,000 for that same course. So you want your student who may not have a job that summer to take 2 courses at the community college and save you $5,000. So if you do that 3 summers in a row, you could save your parents $15,000, graduate 6 months earlier because you're going to eliminate an entire semester. You're in the workforce 6 months earlier, and your potential employer is going to say, wow, you finished college in 3.5 years? Work ethic? When can you start?
That's amazing when you think of it that way. So I'm sure it's great to plan ahead, think of it in advance, right. Save money, and like you said, you're graduating sooner, which is what every student wants to do. All right, let's talk about SAT tutors. Now, we think about SATs as something that you can't really study for, but is it worth it to get a private SAT tutor to prepare for those exams?
Absolutely. I would put aside anywhere from $1,500 to $2,000 to hire a private tutor who has a track record of increasing those scores by at least 200 points. Because the colleges are concerned about 2 things, money and reputation. Okay, so if you can apply to a college where your SAT average is, let's say, 50 points higher than what the school is asking for, they're going to bribe your student to come to their school, because what are you going to do? That student is going to help increase their SAT scores, which means they're going to increase their reputation and, by extension, increase the amount of money they're going to charge future parents. So you'd be amazed at what a little investment of let's say, $1,500 can do in return of what you're going to be getting back from the college and merit scholarships.
So it's a very smart investment.
Huge.
Now, how much should parents spend on their child's college expenses?
Absolutely nothing. And I'm going to give you a life lesson that the parents ought to give to their kids that no college professor in economics is ever going to utter. I said this to my 2 boys before they went off to college. I'm not going to send you a dime, okay? What you're going to do is that you're going to get those dimes at a summer job before you go off to college, or when you're in college, offer on campus. And you're going to be able to pay for all your own expenses, for your own pizza, your beer, and more beer. And then what's going to happen
Tell it like it is.
when you graduate, you're going to be able to put on a resume the following statement, which is really going to impress the employers, which they'll probably ask you before you leave the room, when can you start? And the statement that you're going to put in that resume is 4 years of money management experience.
That's right. That's so true. And so
absolutely,
parents need to know that if they're going to pay for the college tuition, then the expenses are totally off their plate.
And you can save anywhere from $20,000 to $30,000 if you've got 2 kids going off to college like I did over a 4-year period.
Yes, that's a great tip, Paul. And people think that they have to spend something for college, for a 4-year degree, that there's no way that they can spend absolutely nothing.
Oh, That's probably the best kept secret in America, and I'm going to tell it right now. What you do, you send off your student off to a community college, which is going to be financed by a Stafford loan from the government through the college. So the parent ends up spending nothing, and the student signs off for that loan. Okay, and then when he graduates, he transfers to a in-state state university, where you're also a commuter, not a computer, but a commuter. Okay,
yes.
And what happens is, yet that student lets the Stafford loan pay for his entire 4 years. The parents end up spending absolutely nothing. And what's the downside? The downside is, well, the student has to live at home for another 4 years. The upside for the parent is that they spend absolutely nothing. And the upside for the parent is that he gets to bond with his parents another 4 years.
Don't we love that? Father-son
Exactly.
or father-daughter bonding. That's wonderful.
When I say that to a student, it doesn't sell very well.
Well, they're going to be, grow their wings and fly out eventually, but it's nice to have that option. And think about it, paying nothing for a 4-year degree.
Exactly.
I think as a parent, that's
It is.
giving your kid a choice, that's a very smart thing.
Right.
Grant money after the student has completed 1 year of college. Is it true that you can actually get more grant money if they've completed 1 year?
You can. The most sacred element of a college is the retention rate. Okay? That means how much can we brag about how many students do we keep here after their freshman year. So, and the caveat here is the student has to have a really good freshman year to be able to do this. So what happens is at the end of the freshman year, the student sends an email to the admissions director as well as to the financial aid director with one line. Please send my first year transcript to the following state schools. And make sure that all those schools to this college knows that they're much cheaper than the school that you're already attending. Now, did you say that you were transferring? No, you never said you were transferring. But you scared the daylights out of people in the admissions office and financial aid office, and they'll say, well, look, he's an A student, he's doing well. What are we going to do to keep him? Because it's going to damage our retention rate. Oh, we can't have that happen. And and it works. Not all the time, but it works with quite a few people that I know.
You've got some great secrets there, Paul, that I'm sure a lot of parents and students are really happy that they heard about. So thank you for sharing this advice.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
Anytime that we can learn about how to make college more affordable, we are totally game. So thank you for sharing.
Thank
Nice
you.
to have you here. Ahead